Started.
Hey all.
Hey, hi.
Hi.
Hi, Vishal.
Hi. Good to see you all,
Hi.
yeah.
Hi, good evening. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Very good evening. Yep. So Tanisha told me it's gonna be more like a grading session. So let's get started. Hi Tanisha.
Yes, hi. Welcome, Team My Virtue, to The Tables Have Turned. So it's always Vishal grilling us and questioning us and asking us tough questions we can't answer. So today I thought of bringing him live and asking him the questions. So we have gathered here to know Vishal, our CEO and founder, a little better. So who
And
doesn't like talking, right?
and remember, tables will turn again, okay?
They surely will.
After this session.
Yes, so we all can expect a call from Vishal.
Nah, it's a good thing that you're doing, Tanisha. I think, with our kind of schedule and in every startup, there is a lot of grind that goes through, everybody's hustling. So it is good to have these kind of conversation now because we have different departments. At times you don't talk to each one of them,
Yeah.
or maybe you don't talk in a group where everybody knows everything, though we try to maintain that kind of transparency. It's a very good thing that you're doing, Tanisha. Happy to answer any and every question that I should and I will.
Okay, so we've gathered here and you all can ask Vishal anything you want. You can be as candid as you want. You will not refuse answering anything here today. So we can start and I'll start by asking Vishal. You have to be quick.
hmm Okay, I'll
Okay.
try to.
Yeah. Top three values every child should learn according to my virtue. Go.
Gratitude, compassion, respect.
Okay, and why is that? What about the other
So
values?
so every value is very critical to every child. I mean, if you're gonna ask me like, okay, one has to start with any value. So gratitude, compassion, and respect, they goes very long. I think these days the whole concept started from that thing. So my take is, if you're gonna ask me rapid fire, so these three values would come uh, in the first go. But all the values are critical. But these are extremely critical to any and every angle.
Okay, gratitude, compassion, and respect.
That's right.
Okay. So next asking you will be Pragya.
Hi, Vishal. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Pragya. Good to see you.
Same here. So my question to you is that all of us have, some lessons that we learn the hard way. What is it that is there a life lesson that you have learned the hard way? And if yes, what would that be?
So I'll be honest here. So I've learned that listening is an art, you know. So when I started my career, one guy, I used to believe I have high IQ, so I know everything. So there's a thin line between I know it versus I am the only one who knows it. So when
Hmm.
I started my career, I was pretty aggressive in nature. So it is more like you would not even complete the sentence. I'll say like, I know it. I'll get it done. But when you grow in the industry or maybe in any domain, so I've learned listening is an art. uh, Most of the
Absolutely.
people in professional life or maybe personally, they're missing out on it. So it
Hmm.
is helping me big time now, after 23 years of working. So that is working in my favor now.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Great. So next, I guess, will be Navita.
Yeah, sure, Tanisha, thank you so much. Hi, Vishal. And
Hey.
I would just like to know that if you had a mentor or someone who played a significant role in shaping your career or your, personal growth, and it will be great if you can just share the wisdom they have shared with you and just pass it on to us.
Sure, Navita. So the
Yeah.
kind of guy I am, uh, I don't go by labeling, So when you say mentor as a designation or a label, I don't believe in that. I personally feel you can learn from anybody and everybody. So pretty early in my professional life, so I worked on the same model that, okay, if I could learn from somebody, whether he's a junior, he or she is a junior or a senior, I would just pick up my learning. So though I never said it to many people, but there were many, who taught me number of things, learning, to quote few, how team is critical. So at one point in time, I used to feel like I can manage everything, but I've learned pretty quickly from one of my mentor my during my Dell days, Ravi Johari. So he taught me one thing, without team, you're not a leader. So that is something which got there with me since till date now. So, so there are many things that I've learned, but Ravi Johari explained me a lot of things, during my Dell days. But in any and every company, you learn a bit. So it is hard for me to take few names or quote somebody, but there were many.
Yeah. Thank you.
As you've been mentored for us too, Vishal. Now let's see
Am
what
I?
Dimple. Yes, you definitely are. Let's see what Dimple has to ask Vishal.
Hey,
Hey
Dimple.
Vishal, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. So good to see you.
Yeah, so my question is a little offbeat. Since I'm too much into songs and anthems, I'd like to ask you one question that, in a world where values are often subjective, if my virtue had to give a song to the values, what would it be? I'd like you to just share some few lines of those songs with us.
Oh.
We generally had these anthems in schools also. We had a school
So,
song. So what
abhi
about
se I'm saying it is the toughest question. So it is so hard to, so I'm not a movie buff, by the way. It is hard for me to recall songs. काफी टफ है मेरे लिए तो मैं तो मूवी देख के भी आता हूँ तो एंड तक मैं भूल जाता हूँ शुरू कहाँ से हुई थी. So it'll be very hard for me. But I think so, not from a virtue perspective, because when you start working with any of the startup or you start any startup, the journey is very tough. It's a very bumpy ride. आपको लगता है कि आप शुरू में ये करोगे तो आइडिया काफी अच्छा है, कॉन्सेप्ट अच्छा है और एकदम से ऐसा हो जाएगा, बट ऐसा नहीं होता. जर्नी इज वेरी टफ. So when I started, I always thought it's gonna be party. It's the time to disco. Never happened. Okay. So virtues के साथ मैं ऐसे कोई song नहीं associate कर पाऊंगा, but as a team, what we are doing, it is some change that we are bringing in the society, and we know it. We are the first one who is actually working on it. So मैं अब lately, I think after 2 years, मेरे को लगता है कि मेरे को लगान का वो गाना याद आता है कि चले चलो चले चलो.
Wow.
तो उस सॉन्ग में काफी काफी बार वो बोलते हैं कि अंधेरा आएगा, ये आएगा. Then my take is, okay, there is light on the other side of the tunnel, बस चले चलो. So that is working in my favor so far.
Wow, very well said. Thank you.
That's really a beautiful song, and we all can relate to it.
Yeah, I feel so. So we
Yeah.
all are working like 24/7 these days. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, next asking will be Namisha.
So, hi Vishal.
Hey, Namisha.
So, every journey, we've been on this journey practically for quite some time now, and we've seen the highs and lows, and we all talk about professionally, whatever it's there, it's a high, we celebrate that. If there are lows, we're there with each other. But for you, being that emotional person you are, I would want to know what is the most emotionally rewarding moment that you've felt since inception of My Virtue.
So when you think of an idea at ideation stage, a lot of people, you would start talking to your friends and family, and everybody is pretty much like कि इसको तो हाँ ही बोलना है. So they will just say good idea, good idea. But you don't get the sense out of it, because आपको पता होता है कि ये अपने लोग हैं, हाँ ही बोलेंगे. But once you go in the market and when you talk to people whom you don't know, and then they say कि it's a good idea, it's a workable. So काफी काफी अच्छी feeling होती है. So pretty early we started getting those kind of responses where people said, yeah, it's new and it is good. So वो छोटा motivation था, but to me personally, when I met somebody who is a principal in some school, uh, 35 years of work ex, primarily in teaching kids and managing schools. When she said it for the first time, like, कि बहुत अच्छा है, this is something good, new and should be done. I am with you on this one. So वो एक moment था जो मैंने बार बार relive किया है, because every time when I meet some principal who is very senior, 2 decade, 3 decade, and every time when they say, okay, you're doing good job. So every time I relive the same moment, you come back out of, you come out of that room and you feel सही direction में जा रहा हूँ. So
So
that
that's
is
very
still working
reassuring.
for me. Yeah, it is still, you see lot of days जब आपको लगता है क्या ही कर रहे हैं और कैसे करना है, कैसे होगा. But every time when you meet any such person and then you feel that's okay, चले चलो.
I think I can totally relate to that because when I speak to the parent and I get the same feedback from a parent, That's
Mhm.
like real from the horse's mouth themselves. They're having a good feedback from the child. So yeah, I can totally relate.
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely. I think अभी तक हमारे लिए वो अच्छा है कि गुड बैड हमारी अपनी जर्नी है, बट एटलीस्ट वी नो वी हेडिंग इन द राइट
Totally.
डायरेक्शन.
Okay, next up is Isha, and we hope you're going to ask something interesting from Vishal.
Oh, sure. Hi, Vishal.
Hey, Isha.
Finally, I get to ask you a question, and you honestly have to reply that.
I'm scared, but
You
yeah, I
understand honestly?
100% now.
ठीक है. So, since you are running this edtech business focused on values, must have been very challenging. So, what is the funniest incident that you have encountered in the business side of My Virtue?
Okay, so a lot of within this group, I mean, a lot of people who have started working with us since the day of inception or pretty early. So you all know we want to build a model जहाँ पे हम conceptually we want to bring value education into the system, and it is not that easy when it's a bootstrap company and then you go for funding. So conceptually, we are pretty good. The kind of crowd we cater to, be it schools or a consumer who understand this business, it is easy for me to make them understand what we do, how we want to scale it up, क्या इसकी outcome है. But on the other side, when you go in the funding circle, because obviously we are a funded company and we're looking for more rounds. So when you get into that circle, तो वहाँ पे काफी funny incident होते हैं. So to quote one, I still remember during my early days, maybe after 1 year of the inception of the company, I met someone who was an investor. मेरे को आज तक नहीं लगा वो थे, but उनको लगता था वो थे. So I explained him the whole concept. It took me like 45 minutes to make him understand society, culture, concept, value education, VQ, EQ, IQ. काफी कुछ करने के बाद उनको लगा ये काफी अच्छा है. He said like it's very good. ये तो काफी सही है. And then आपको बात करते करते लगता है बस सब सही जा रहा है. And the guy is loaded and that is how it is going to be. So एंड में उन्होंने मुझे बोला बट प्लॉट है कहाँ पे. If you get it.
Okay.
So he thought that okay, this concept is all about कुछ चल रहा है जहाँ पे हम बेचने आए हैं और वो प्लॉट है जो उन्होंने बाय करना है. So that was so funny. तो मेरे को लगा कि अभी मैं यहाँ तो कुछ नहीं बोल सकता, पर मुझे बाहर आके लगा कि अभी थोड़े टाइम ये वाली बात करनी ही नहीं है, हम बिजनेस पे फोकस करते हैं. But yeah, to identify right set of people to when you pitching for funding, you need to identify those people. But that was too funny. So guy took 45 minutes and then he said plot hai kahan par. So it was
How
very
did you
funny.
digest this at
I'm
that
still
point of
I'm
time?
still not able to.
I'm sure.
Thank you, Isha.
Thank you.
As funny as that sounds, I'm sure it must be very disheartening too.
Yeah, but yep, it was. So that's how the founder's journey is these days.
Right. So is Anmol there? Anmol?
Yeah.
Hey, Anmol.
Hi, Vishal sir. Finally, I'm asking something to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Then what ninja value do you like the most and you relate them and why?
So all the values are extremely critical. So it's a set of values which makes us a complete human being, as our tagline says. But I think मैंने last 2 years में क्या देखा है कि with the startup you need to have that belief in the concept. You need to find the right set of people who would stand shoulder to shoulder. उसमें एक चीज बहुत critical है when you just at very nascent stage. अगर आज की डेट में हम में वो टीम वर्क ना होता तो हम 2 से 21 कभी ना बनते. Current present situation में अगर मेरे को आंसर करना है, so this teamwork that we all learned and we are actually executing it while just building my virtue, it is working in our favor, I would say. But other than that, I would say all the virtues are extremely critical and close to my heart and very important for anybody and everybody. I think though we say कि हम बच्चों के लिए काम करते हैं, but we all know deep down inside that adults के लिए भी same work करते हैं. But आज की डेट में teamwork is making us stay alive.
Thank you, Vishal sir.
Thank you.
So I can see the team is really enjoying asking Vishal questions.
Mhm. Yeah.
So another question has come to my mind, that which value do you find the most difficult to practice in your own life?
पहले honesty थी. Okay. So since day one, I've been working on these values. When we started with a team of child psychologists, often content writers, story writers, a lot of teachers. इतना इतना डिस्कस किया, इतना ज्यादा डिस्कस किया लास्ट 2 years में हमने, जब हम रिसर्च कर रहे थे, प्रोडक्ट को शेप दे रहे थे, एंड वी लिव दिस जर्नी फ्रॉम 2022 से, और लास्ट 6 months से हम लाइव चल रहे हैं. I don't find it difficult to practice any value now. That is becoming part of my routine, and that is my job for society as well. What I want to do is कि हम ये values embed कर दें. You remember, मैं बार बार बोलता हूँ कि I have this good or bad habit to touch feet. मुझे नहीं पता मुझे कब सिखाया गया था, but that is how it is. The problem is I every time I see somebody has a gray hair, long beard, gray beard, मैं छू देता हूँ अभी भी. फिर वो बोलते हैं तू मेरी एज का ही होगा ऑलमोस्ट. So that is the bad side to it. But these are the values that usually get embedded into the system. So अभी के लिए मुझे कोई वैल्यू ऐसे नहीं लगता है मैं टफ है मेरे लिए, काफी इजी हो गई है लाइफ मेरे लिए.
So teaching and being a part of My Virtue, you've inculcated those values in yourself too.
Oh yeah, you can only teach once you start preaching it.
Yeah.
First preach it and then teach it.
Okay, that was great. Navita, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, Tanisha. Vishal, first of all, I'll just let you know that you're doing great. Although we are aware of all these things, whatever you are saying, but then coming it from you in such a candid and in a such a outline with your thoughts, it's like great knowing everything. And the question I want to ask you is that there are some people or parents, you may say so, that they feel that the school should focus on academic education only. So how do you respond to those who believe that value should be left to parents and not to the institutions?
So there are two parts to this question. One
Yeah.
is about the parent mindset, and second is how can we do it. So to
Right.
answer your first question, I'll quote an instance. So usually, I think you head operations, Navita. So I talk to a lot of parents. Randomly I'll pick up the phone and call parents just to check like whether is there any feedback for us, or kind of stuff. The other day I was talking to someone who started this value with us, and then said pause my kid's course for a while because he has to go for a football practice. And I said that okay, that's a good thing. But I asked her, did you ever check with your kid, like when he comes back from a football practice, कि आज कितने गोल किए, जीता हारा, कैसा रहा? So she said, no, I don't. I said, okay, I'll be calling you back after 2 days. Just check with your kid. And then I called her again after 2 days, and she started our course again. Pause, हटा दिया. So the thing that she understood is, हम एज अ पेरेंट माइंडसेट क्या चल रहा है, हम ये जब टाइम डिवाइड करते हैं, हम बोलते हैं यार फिजिकल एक्टिविटी बहुत जरूरी है, सब कुछ जरूरी है. So when she spoke to her kid, she got to know कि कई बार उसका बहुत मूड ऑफ होता है because the kid doesn't know how to absorb the fact कि किसी ने ज्यादा गोल कर दी, या आज मैं नहीं जीता तो मेरा मूड कैसा है. Because for accepting those facts, still you need these kind of system where kid can actually speak to their parent and understand कि यार still मेरे को वो compassion रखना है अगर मैं हार के आता हूँ. Still I need to be happy when if somebody else is winning. Still I need to have that gratitude when I'm learning something from my coach. Still I need to absorb the fact that somebody has scored more goals than me. So when she spoke to the kid, she understood that okay, this is extremely critical. हम कुछ भी कर रहे हैं which is बहुत जरूरी है आज की सिचुएशन में, बिकॉज बहुत ज्यादा हाई कंपटीशन है. बट उन फैक्ट को एब्जॉर्ब करने के लिए भी हमारा वैल्यू सिस्टम एक्सट्रीमली स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए फ्रॉम अ किड्स पर्सपेक्टिव हु इज एज लाइक व्हाट 6 to 10. So that is like I want parents to understand that okay, they need to have the mindset कि you need to be a good human being first, a versatile human being who can absorb, take a shock, react in a certain manner. Rather being reactive, one has to be proactive because one has to understand कि कैसे system work करता है. So that is my take from My Virtue, and I would want to request to parents that think on those lines. Second conversation, I think, see, we can't, schools, they have a lot on their plate, you know. Uh, this whole journey started for me when my daughter, so when we moved to some new society, she came to me, and one day I said, like, did you say thank you to guard uncle? And she said it's her job, his job. So वहां से माई वर्च्यू स्टार्ट हो गया, और 2 साल से मैंने सैलरी नहीं ली है, सो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड, शायद मैं इग्नोर कर देता, बट आई डिडंट, सो पेरेंट हैज टू अंडरस्टैंड कि चाइल्ड का इन्फ्लुएंस बहुत जल्दी पकड़ते हैं वो. So we have to be, though we want to, follow West, we want to just, be as American as we want to be, but still, I think Indian value system is very strong, and we need to follow it, and it help us big time, be it in West or maybe in extreme East. Schools, they have a lot on their platter, so we just can't say like कि school हर कुछ कराएगा. Schools, even they need a helping hand. So what we do is, it's more like a hand in glove approach with the school, where we say that, okay, we are just reinforcing what you're starting. So that's our thing. We can't tell schools कि सिर्फ academic पे focus करो, because parent mindset has to change. And for, if we want schools to do good, they may need some support from edtech like ours, and there are many who are doing, I mean, great job. So who could actually support school in focusing more on the education and kid, rather thinking there is a revenue model or XYZ. Did I confuse you? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Being a mother, I can also relate to, the couple of incidents you have shared. So definitely you have answered my question. So thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
I think parents need to take a step towards these issues their kids are facing.
100%, Tanisha, in agreement. Parents को थोड़ा सा open होके चलना पड़ेगा कि these are not like, अभी के लिए हो क्या रहा है, tick in the checkbox बहुत ज्यादा है. If somebody is doing robotics, तो robotics कराना है, backup कराना है. And I think कि हमारे kids की capacity है काफी कुछ absorb करने की, but still I think you need to put a structure to it. How do you want to do it? So set the base right. आप आज की डेट में बैकअप कराते हो, कोडिंग कराते हो, and there's nothing against it, but पेरेंट के पास टेंजिबल कोई मेजर नहीं है उसको चेक करने का. पेरेंट कभी ये नहीं बोलेगा मेरे को कोड लिख के दिखाओ, अच्छा मैं अब शुरू हो रहा हूँ और बैकअप से शुरू हो जाओ, फटाफट से करो. बट द मोमेंट दे विल अंडरस्टैंड वैल्यू, आवर किड्स, डायरेक्ट इम्पैक्ट है पेरेंट्स के लिए. सो एवरी टाइम व्हेन किड सेज थैंक यू मम्मा, दे नो इट इज वर्किंग. सो that is how values work. So it starts from home and it can go to multiple folds.
Yeah, I think there's also a lack of awareness among parents that they need to address these issues.
100% in agreement. Yep. As a conceptually, I think they need to understand it is extremely critical. I think we still feel, we are in should have category, but in a span of year or so, you would see that, okay, it'll become must have for sure. And now we're moving to teenage, where we're addressing other issues like, influence of social media and internet, body shaming, bullying. So parents will have that belief.
Right. Ritu? Hi, you're on mute.
Hi, Vishal.
Ritu.
How are you?
I'm good, Ritu. How are you?
All good, Vishal. So I have a question for you. So in your interactions with child psychologists and educators, what surprising insight did you gain about the challenges kids face in developing a strong moral compass?
So there are many, Ritu. I think, when I started working on this concept, मेरे को दो तरह की रिस्पेक्ट पता थी. रिस्पेक्ट कर लो और सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट. But now I know, so when it comes to respect, there are 9 elements to it जो हम बिल्कुल इग्नोर करते हैं. So when I was working with child psychologists, and or maybe I'm meeting a lot of them now, so kids at this age 6 to 10 कैनवस है, बट आप जैसा कलर कर दोगे वो कलर चेंज नहीं हो सकता. So one thing I understood is, there's a lot of space for us to, color, but we need to be wise enough to ensure that, okay, we're putting the right colors on the kid. So I think मेरे लिए बहुत insightful था when, they told me कि 4 to 6 is the age जब बिल्कुल बच्चा सिर्फ commands लेता है. 6 to 10 is when they start asking question, but still pretty much, commanding position में रहते हैं. And 11 is the stage where it's absolutely reverse situation, where logic supersedes anything and everything. So when we started working, that I think a lot of facts we were not aware. So hence the reason, we wanted it to experiential learning, because I never knew that 94% of the kids are unheard these days. So when you give that kind of platform, so we get to know that okay यार अगर kids बोलते हैं उनका एक perspective है, तो perspective बाहर आना जरूरी है. So a lot of kids, they have the information but nobody's actually giving them platform to speak, or they call it affirmations, that when you say it again and again you start believing in it and it start happening. So that part was not there. One thing which I don't like is the notion against edtech, which is not good, because कोविड आया, ऑनलाइन पे गए पेरेंट्स, फिर वापस चले गए ऑनलाइन, अच्छा नहीं है. बट दे ऑल नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द फैक्ट कि ओके हमको सिर्फ ये देखना है कि ऑनलाइन है या ऑफलाइन है, क्या वैल्यू मेरा बच्चा ले रहा है और क्या हम सिखा पा रहे हैं, इज इट वैल्यूएबल, कितना एब्जॉर्प्शन है और कितनी एंगेजमेंट से कितनी कंजम्पशन है. तो दैट इज देयर. So yeah, there are many facts here. I think we've been living inside out child psychologist department mein, so there are lot many things which we learn every day. There's no stopping to it. Did I answer
Thank
your
you.
question, Ritu? You don't look convinced.
No, absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ritu.
Vishal, I was wondering, the generation we are living in is in such denial that they would not admit that even the parents are lacking in values. So why would they admit that their children are not lacking?
So as a concept, I don't believe that okay मैं कुछ नया लेके आ गया हूँ मार्केट, ऐसा कभी भी नहीं था. So values हमेशा से थी, सबको ये पता भी है. The problem is they call it कि acceptance नहीं है. So you're right.
Yeah, they're living in denial.
Yeah, so they are in denial, saying that okay उनको लगता है कि they're perfect.
Yeah.
And this is the culture. So मेरे को उससे ज्यादा लगता है कि underrated है ये concept, बहुत ज्यादा. So I think मेरे पास इसका वो भी आंसर नहीं है कि I'll say कि नहीं ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा है. Acceptance बहुत कम है, denial में है I think. और मेरी अब कोशिश ये है कि that's okay, parents it is hard to convince them that okay मैं आपकी क्लास लेता हूँ और आपको बताता हूँ कि वैल्यूज पे काम करो. But at age 6 to 10 जहाँ पे हम kids को cater कर सकते हैं, तो we can change this thing. But we are heading in the right direction. So we as a society heading in the right direction. When I just talk to tier 1 parents, they know it. So होता क्या है कि आज के डेट में जितने भी corporate parents हैं, you go to any company, you would not even see a single pillar in a company जहाँ पे compassion, gratitude, empathy ऐसा कुछ ना लिखा हो, because EQ और VQ इतना highly supportive हो गया है, and be it West, East और India, तो I think वो acceptance है. But yeah, tier 2, tier 3 के parents को ये समझना पड़ेगा कि cluttered information या capsules में information will not help, because there are a lot of blogs, podcasts, YouTube channels, Instagram influencers passing on एक single piece में information, but those capsules will not help kids at all. They need a structure to everything. So that will change. But to answer your question, 100% denial में चल रहे हैं, and this is our way of telling them that okay, let's talk, let's discuss, and logic will win.
Yeah, and we hold parenting workshops as well, so does that help them?
Yeah, big time. I think it is hard to tell them that okay, his workshop में आओ, there is a lot to learn. But now I think we see trend is changing. Every time when we do any parents workshop, so it is working amazingly well. So they get to know a lot of sides जो मुझे भी शायद 2 साल पहले नहीं पता थी. We go with the flow. जो information हमें feed पे दिखाई जा रही है, हम उसी को accept करते हैं. But there are layers to it. So it is working well for us, and I'm happy that I started this parenting workshop. Before that, because when we started this concept, we never thought there will be a parenting session. But then I realized that reinforcement is critical, and I think MiVirtue can't be there like 24/7. But ultimately, kids are learning everything, most of the thing from their parents. So when we do these parenting workshops or parenting session, we tell them that how we do it, what we do, and the reinforcement techniques as well, so that it should help them have a long-lasting impact.
Right, of course. Thank you for answering my question. Ashmi?
Pleasure, Tanisha.
Hi Vishal, how are you?
Hey Ashmi, I'm good. Good to see you.
Yeah, so you did partially answer a question of mine. So my question was like you seem to be a doting father to your daughter, like beautiful Ida. So like how has your and her personal relationship and your personal journey affected the development of my virtue? And like what values do you see have been either incorporated or they've gotten better in Ida?
Hmm. So first, I think I told you, so how this whole
Yeah.
journey started. It started from Ida. And ईधा played a very critical role when we were building my virtue. अगर वो adult होती तो मेरे को उसको equity देनी पड़ती. Yeah, because so when we started this concept, the whole plan was a little different. We wanted to go with downloaded sessions or pre-recorded session. But when we started beta testing, we made a pool of kids. Precisely, we started first batch from Ida and her friends. She's age 9, and then she was such a devil's advocate. She always gave me like as brutal feedback as one could give it to us. You know? So her feedbacks were pretty much very helpful for us while building my virtue. So then we brought the concept of live teaching from a downloaded session. Then again, it was not working in our favor. So we brought stories. I thought we'll have a stories from maybe Ramayana, Mahabharata, nothing against them, but didn't work because kids couldn't relate to it. And then we brought, you know the concept like story writers. So we wrote very upbeat urban stories so the kids could relate. And still, it didn't work from a consumption per se or absorption per se. Then we brought animation to it. So Ida played a very critical role while we were building my virtue to just, giving me honest feedback. So it was coming from devil's mouth. Additionally, I think when she became part of all the beta sessions and then she, took the full course. She's still on maybe seventh value. Drastic changes in her, you know. At times, she would just do it to make me happy, mere samne. But now we have seen those values are getting embedded into her. So without even thinking twice, her first reaction when she's in playful nature would be basis the value. एंड आई स्टिल फील जब मुझे भी गुस्सा आता है तो कई बार अगर मेरी कार लग जाए तो शायद होता है मैं 2-3 बार गुस्सा कर जाता हूँ बट 6 to 7 times I'm good कि जाने दो कुछ नहीं होता यार छोटी सी चीज है एंड सेम इज द रिएक्शन विद ईदा 8 out of 10 times and you would see she's a different kid now and not her the whole group so who did beta testing and then her batch as well I think the good part is when some parent would just call you and say that okay drastic change. One parent said कि बहुत सारे changes हैं, but there is one bad thing as well. My kids, they have started asking a lot of questions. Now it's a good problem to have because we give them that perspective to share their perspective. So I said it's a good problem to have. It'll help her big time. But yeah, so a lot of changes in Ida and the whole group, whole batch she's studying in.
Yeah. So for the parents who have a this difficult time answering their questions, their kids' questions, you tell them कि चलो चलो आ जाओ हमारे parenting workshop के लिए भी.
No, I don't do that. दोबारा पूछेंगे नहीं उनको लगेगा ये आएंगे तो कुछ कुछ सेल कर देंगे.
True. Yes. So thank you for your answer. Like we got to know the journey. Like कहाँ से beta testing से now where we are.
Oh yep.
Yes.
It's a good journey. It's still a bumpy ride, but yeah, we're pretty much there. And I'm happy. I think we're launching our product too, which is for teenager, which people are loving it. So far, we are going with the beta testing and we're going live in the month of Feb. So yeah, that's how it is.
So
Any
now,
other questions, Anisha?
okay.
Sorry. Go ahead, please, Ashmi.
So, just I wanted to add you. So these kids like age 6 to 9 or 6 to 10, they're like clay. So it is upon you how you mold them, and you molded Ida really well in these value-based things.
Oh, I think the whole credit goes to my virtue, R&D and now the teachers because she's just like any other student.
Yeah.
And our teachers are doing fab, because we wanted to keep it 100% experiential model. There was no two-way about it. And now I can see how experiential learning can change the whole, concept of teaching kids. I wish schools could do it, but I think schools, they have their own challenges and hence we are helping schools big time when it comes to experiential learning. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashmi.
I'd like to add that even I've met Ida and she's not a matlab, lallu child who you can say anything and she'll agree to you. She's quite witty. So I'm sure My Virtue must be doing a magic on her.
Yep, 100%. But I think all the wit comes from me, so I'll take control of it. But yeah,
Sure.
she's a smart kid, I think. But I think so. It's just because you met Ida, you know her.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I just keep on checking with a lot of teachers. Randomly किसी भी session में मैं घुस जाता हूँ and then see. If you will see My Virtue kids when they are doing their classes, or you will be amazed to see their perspective. I think both Preeti and Mansi, they will agree to it. That okay, they we just can't think of things that they can say, and they can they have that kind of angle on a lot of different lens to think about things. So that is amazing. So all the kids in this generation are very smart, very smart.
Yeah.
And as Ashmi said, I think we just need to give them some direction, and you will see they will win hearts.
Right.
Mhm.
Next, asking you a question will be Mansi.
Okay.
Hello, good evening, Vishal.
Good evening, Mansi.
So, yeah, the question I'm going to ask you, you touch based it when Ritu asked you something about child psychologists and educators. So, you touched it here offline and online classes, right? So, yes, COVID gave us online classes. But as a parent, like I'm a parent in at the COVID times, yes, it was a boon to have online classes so that children at least are doing something. They were not shut down with the education. But as a parent, don't you feel that such learning should be imparted? What we are doing at My Virtue would be more impactful if done in the physical manner than online.
So great question, Mansi. So I'm not going to live in a denial saying that okay, online versus offline, online will win. So first of all, there is no competition. So I think the whole notion is incorrect when we say offline versus online. दोनों के pros and cons हैं. But if you're gonna ask me like if we can do experiential learning, if we can have a teacher sitting in front of you and then there is a background animation going on, the story narration is happening, and we can just have max 8 kids in a class. It's the same thing offline. So there is no offline versus offline. The whole concept is, to give that space to a kid where they can freely, talk to us, say things. Environment is designed in such a way जहाँ every kid gets a space, their own space. So उसके लिए ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन में हमारे को ये नहीं था, बट मेरे को ये चाहिए था कि आई थिंक जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन हम किड्स को दे रहे हैं, इट शुड कम फ्रॉम अ राइट सोर्स, वन फ्रॉम अ राइट पीपल, राइट सेट ऑफ पीपल. अब उसके लिए आई थिंक फिजिकली you have to hire that kind of talent. It is a tedious task. So what we wanted to build is कि okay, let's not get into offline versus online discussion, but think when kid is sitting in some space, क्या absorb कर रहा है, क्या consume कर रहा है, उसकी outcome क्या है. That is how it is. If you're gonna ask me, offline is offline, when you could just physically be there and do it. But when it comes to experiential model, I think I'm very surprised जब हमने start किया था, lot of kids, जब हम कई बार हम schools में बहुत सारी workshop करते हैं, you would just see a kid and he'll be like, won't say anything at all. But the moment they'll come on Zoom, they feel that's my room. Nobody's looking at me and I can speak freely. The information is safe here in this Zoom call. Only 6 people know it. So giving that kind of space is an amazing thing. And it is absolutely working. So I would just request everybody, like you are a parent, then let's not get into offline versus online, but think that okay, what exactly are they learning? Who is teaching them? If they're getting that kind of space which they need, to consume the information, if those three factors are pretty much intact, there's no offline versus online.
Okay, so to extend this question further, and especially after yesterday's experience we had, and Preeti ma'am was also there, and you saw the live impact of the physical classes as well. So, I would just ask you one more question regarding to that: is what is the one pro and one con of online and offline?
So when it comes to offline, I think the good part is you being there, you can feel the energy of the kids, which is extremely critical, from a teaching perspective, because now I work with a lot of teachers, so I can understand that energy part is extremely critical. But let's take yesterday's example. I felt that okay, when you have a bigger group, So there are a lot of kids, अगर मैं आज की डेट में percentage निकालता हूँ, I would say, okay, 65% of the kids were able to absorb it. 35%, as much as we tried, but at one point in time, you would see there's a leakage of information that was happening. Okay. But if you reduce the size of offline, 7, still that personal space at time is missing. So that is the second disadvantage of offline, because बच्चों को लगता है ये 6 भी मेरे को देख रहे हैं, मुझे सुन रहे हैं, सब मुझे ही देख रहे हैं. बट जूम कॉल में नॉर्मली ऐसे एनवायरनमेंट में लोग को लगता है कि I'm free to do anything. Online में I think, as I said, kids get that space. You can actually bring best of the talent to teach kids from any corner of the world. So that is always there. And if you can manage experiential learning with a small set of group, there's no offline versus online. But the sad part is that energy, that vibe, that is missing in online. But if you can actually, pull it off through your session, through your words, nothing like it. But at times, teachers, as a profession, I know, without saying, you say a lot of things.
Yes.
तो ऑनलाइन में शायद वो चीजें मिसिंग हो जाती हैं, बट
Yes, because your
द
body
वे
language speaks a lot.
अ लॉट, तो वो फैक्टर मिसिंग रहता है. सो दोनों के प्रोज एंड कॉन्स हैं.
Thank you so much. As a parent, the moment online classes started, one of the very big question was there for me also, that how much my child will absorb as a learning in the offline online classes. But then yes, I agree to your pros and cons both, and especially yes, being offline teacher for years and now being online, when I started my journey with my virtue, I thought it would be a challenge for me, but I think I have successfully overcome that challenge.
या आस्क मी एंड द आंसर इज यस.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mansi. Good question, Mansi.
Thank you, Mansi. I'm sure that was a tough one for Vishal.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is indeed, but it is more like this is one question which would come again and again, and then we have to keep on answering it.
Yeah. And I think it also depends on the teacher and what you're teaching to engage the kids online.
Yep, that is one big fact. I think when we were building this platform, our first thing was, how we can actually increase the engagement. So to an
Yeah.
extent, we were just time stamping our session during beta testing. We would just go with first 20 minutes. We'll just pull out some question from first 20 minutes. We would say wrong thing, and then the questioner would have asking color, kaun sa color tha, kaun sa nahi tha, so that we can see ki engagement kahan tak hai. So when we saw that, okay, now we're getting an engagement till 55 minutes, तब तक हम change करते रहे ताकि हमारी engagement 100% रहनी चाहिए.
Right.
Mhm.
Next, asking your question will be Preeti.
Hey
Okay,
Vishal,
hi
hi,
Preeti.
how are you?
Hey, I'm good, Preeti. So good to see you.
Yeah, same here. So before I put forward my question, on that note, the conversation you and Mansi were having. So something was in my mind that before joining this My Virtue, I always thought that the personal touch is always given on ground. Like
Mhm.
Mansi just said, the pros and the cons, and you answered to it so beautifully. But I think My Virtue has proved it that the personal touch cannot just be given on ground. I have witnessed it. You can
Mhm.
give the personal touch online as well. So
Mhm.
My Virtue has proved it. I mean, the warmth I give the children and the love they give me, it's unconditional. They wait for the My Virtue class, and that's my reward. So I
Oh,
would like to thank
absolutely.
you for that, for creating something so awesome
No,
that
thanks to you, Preeti.
sitting at
I
home, we are, inculcating such beautiful values and educating them all over the world, like any corner of the world you talk about. Yeah, so yeah, last but not the least, the question for you
Mhm.
is that in the world of values and education, if you got a chance to give the best supporting virtues to any other virtue, so like who would the trophy go to and like why?
So you said like supporting actor, right?
Yeah, best supporting virtue, right?
So we all need to understand every value is a supporting actor to the other value. So it is hard to find one. Like you just can't say that, okay, you can learn gratitude, but not compassion, and then not empathy. You can learn honesty, but not teamwork. You can learn teamwork, but not equality. So if I have to say that, okay, you just say, you will see all 8 courses will come up pretty much bold. supporting each other. And I think that is how it is. When we started, we thought that okay, no, 1 course, 5 course, क्या करना है? But now I think mostly हमको explain भी नहीं करना पड़ता. Parents would always say, yeah, ये तो सब चाहिए, because they know, they can't say कि मेरे को बच्चे को ये सिखाना है, but ये रहने दो. That is not the case. So every value is a supporting actor to other value.
Agree.
That's my take.
Agree.
And to your first point, Preeti, thanks to you, I think, because I said it like 4 or 5 times, to finding right set of people, and how difficult our screening system is, when we hire teachers, because you need to believe in the concept to actually teach kids these kind of things. It's very subjective in nature, and I don't want to say that okay, I want to quote कि इसको करने के बाद मैथ में 90 marks आ जाएंगे, can't happen. So we need to have a right set of people who feel that okay, this concept has some merit, and then you live with those merits, and then you just teach it. So every teacher with MiVirtue is pretty much doing fab. I think they feel it, and that is how you feel कि वो personal attention मिलती है, and kids feel so happy while attending MiVirtue classes. I think the best testimony, I think the other day somebody was asking me कि सबसे best चीज बताओगे MiVirtue में क्या है, तो मैंने बोला 5 months के बाद मुझे ये है कि हमारी attendance is 96%. तो EdTech में 96% attendance कोई भी नहीं देता है, you know that 70% से ऊपर नहीं आते, because kids are saying no, ये क्लास मिस ही नहीं कर सकते, and we know we have number of examples. So मेरे लिए काफी बड़ी achievement है वो.
True.
So, and
Very
thanks to you guys.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I think MiVirtue's is doing excellent. I must say that something that we parents try to inculcate in our children, but then at the end of the day, children listen to only teachers, and this is what MiVirtue is giving. Something that we, how much ever we raise our voice to let them know what values our moral values are, but then I think teachers, their job is the best, I feel, because that's from where directly goes to the children, because they only listen to the teachers.
Yeah, that is so true. I think parents जितना भी कर लें, सारी values की बात कर लें, और मैं यही बोल रहा था कि I think, और parents का ऐसा नहीं है ना, बैठा के 1 घंटा बोलेंगे आप Monday को क्लास है, Tuesday को क्लास है. So the information is going in small capsules, तो उसकी retention बहुत कम है. But जब teacher से आता है और इस way में आता है, when teachers are like more friends, so 100%. But thanks to you all, I think it's just we all are doing fairly well on a right track, and we're getting a lot of validation, and I think hopefully we'll just see we're touching new miles every month, every quarter, every year.
And the best part in MiVirtue is that it's not boring. It's with a lot of fun. So they basically that 60 minutes they have a fun and frolic day, and that makes their day at the end like they feel energetic. I feel, because it's just not giving them moral values. It's with a lot of activities that's related to the stories. So that's even more interesting for them, and something for which they're always longing to do the icebreakers and the related activities. So I think it's really, really innovative, MiVirtue.
Oh yeah, 100%. Thank you. I think that's how it is designed. That's the way it's been designed. I think the other day I was talking to somebody on a different angle, and I said like I'll share the recording, and then the person called me saying कि मैंने सोचा था थोड़ा सा recording देखूंगा समझूंगा है क्या, and then the person saw the complete 60 minutes का session. Now, one, because kids energy infectious, बहुत cute kids हैं, अपना perspective रख रहे हैं, so it is hard to you want to see more कि अब क्या बोलेंगे. And then session was so fun. The person saw the complete 60-minute session, and imagine I just said that okay, just have a look what we do. So that tells us that okay, it's very fun. Kids are
Also, I
loving,
would like
and
to
teachers are
add, sorry,
loving.
my conversation is getting elongated, but there's one more thing I wanted to add at the end, that I think MiVirtue plays a lot of important role in personality development. If you ask me why, so it's my personal experience. I've seen a child who never used to interact also in the first session. But by the time I came to the last session, he had started opening up so much. I was like amazed to hear such witty answers from the child. And he opened up so much. I think maybe this platter he wouldn't get even in the school. What MiVirtue has given him. Like his communication skills, that also developed. Why? Because we have so many engagement questions. We are like giving them a friendly environment. So that's what makes them open up also.
Yeah, 100% in agreement. As I say, like we don't narrate stories, we make stories, and that helps. And I think it is all about, as I said, like
The
kids,
overall
they do need a platform, and then there's a lot of potential talent lying in every kid. It's just you need to just scratch it and bring it out. And I
Absolutely.
think thanks to you all, and we are doing fairly well so far. So yeah, in agreement. Thanks, Preeti.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal.
Thank you, Preeti. We are so happy to hear that kids are developing and growing so much under your guidance.
No,
Okay,
I
that
think full credit to training team and R&D and everybody who is actually working with MiVirtue tirelessly and day in day out. We're not just counting Saturday Sundays, but we know that we are doing something good.
24/7.
24/7, yeah. So we know that okay, we're doing something good, and ultimately we will be remembered for that, so, for sure.
does anyone else want to ask any question from Vishal? Anything?
We just hope that the tables don't turn around again on us.
Not at all. But
Really.
thank you very much, Tanisha, for hosting this. I think when Tanisha came to me, like she said, like no mat bolna, okay. So we need to do this session where people want to come just ask you question, because a lot of times she would see, from a marketing person, she would just reach out to different department and we want to do something different, and वो बोलेंगे यार इसका थोड़ा थोड़ा पता है, पूरा तो नहीं पता है, so she said, like, I realized that okay, at times we don't talk in length to every department. So it'll be interesting, people let them answer question. I said, like, give them script. He said, no, let them think and come up with the questions. So I said, yeah, देख लेंगे, नहीं तो record नहीं करेंगे. But
So
no,
they
it went
were quite
very well.
beautiful questions.
Yeah, indeed. I think मेरी memory काफी refresh करती है, because जब आप start करते हो, आप कोई पूछ भी ना रहा, आप बताना शुरू कर देते हो, and then वो थोड़ा सा fade away हो जाता है, but it was very refreshing. Thanks to you, Tanisha, and thank you everybody for pulling out time. Amazing chat we had. So I think
Thank you
we're
so
good
much,
to go.
everyone.
Thank you so much, Tanisha, and thank you for giving a platform to ask questions to our CEO. And though he's always very fair, make us feel that as a family more than leading us. He lead us in a good way and a good direction. Thank you for everything.
Thanks to everybody for being part of MiVirtue. As since day one, I've been saying that okay, thank you for saying yes to me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Cheers
you so much.
and bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.